Hussain Alajmi. He is presenting intelligent data management through the data bus best practices.
My name is Hussain Alajmi. I'm a team leader in Kuwait Oil Company, where me and my team, we custode all the data for Kuwait Oil Company. So just imagine how much of data we deal with on a daily basis. We serve more than 7,000 employees, where everybody goes on a daily basis and do their own work. At the end, they have to trust us with their data. So my presentation is exploration and production information management across a data process. The presentation is gonna be introduction, data process and its dimensions, conformance analysis. Then I'll talk about production database, the master database and standard workflows, integration of different databases, and then the collaboration. Just before I take you through all this, I just want to give you a glimpse of Kuwait Oil Company. Kuwait Oil Company is a subsidiary of Kuwait Petroleum Corporation. We produce around 2.7 million on a daily basis, and it's a major, one of the national companies in the Middle East. And you know, just again, imagine what type of data we deal with on a daily basis. What I'm going to show you now is how is the growth of the data in a dynamic way. You know, the growth of data, just imagine if you go with one layer of data, how far this is going to take you. It will, if you start with one objective, that would lead you in 363 objective is only in 5 levels of activities. So if you've gone beyond that, you will go even thousands of activities and levels just to go there. So the growth of data is really tremendous. And we have done this for the last 75 years. But we realized that we were spending so much money in data, but we are not doing anything to put this data as in one set, or we are not spending the time that this data could be utilized. So people are bringing just data and it's there, core data, logs data, production data, seismic data, all type of data we're dealing with. And this is the gross storage size within our disks. It's really humongous. You know, the well logs, the reservoir, the drilling, the production data, and the following are every day. If you look at the, if you look at how this data is growing, it's growing tremendously. And we have seismic data, we have log data, we have reservoir data, we have drilling data. So what we understand from this is in the last decades of this century, the data has grown so much, but to realize the value of this data, we have to do something about. And what am I going to take you through today, later on you will see this, is how did we do this? So what type of classification of data types? We have 2 types of data. We have geoscience data and we have engineering data, where the geoscience talks about the geology, the petrophysics, the geophysics, the well data, the studies, and we have the engineering data where we talk about the reservoirs, the drilling production, the simulation, and how we manage our reservoirs. And at the end, we have to link everything. But before we do that, we found that through the time and the history that we have acquired all these data, we have no centralized. So, you know, when somebody wants to go and acquire those data, there is no centralized. It's all over the company. So me and my team, we decided it's time, we have to do something about this. And we also found out there is no reliability on those type of data. And there is no proper documentation. And if you want to just, anybody could even go and get those type of data. We found that there is no naming and standardization of those type of data. And we were scared and afraid that it could be, you know, getting to the wrong people, you know, like media could even just go there and found those type of data. So we decided to do something about it, and this is what we did. What we did here is we took all the data and we integrate all of it and we put it in a roadmap. So someone would be able to grab all this data and all these application and view it in one layer. So we went from one layer to another layer. We went from the bigger layer to the smaller layer until we put the full data together. And we have a global file system in here, and we have lower level to meet the data. Then we have many different types until at the end we have a type for all type of data I talked earlier about, either geoscience or production. So in the other sense, we have to talk about the production data, which is our main bread and water, because this type of data is really so essential and important for us. So we have to have standardized templates, forms, query, report. We have to have standardized workflows and data flow. We have to have historical back allocation and, to calculate all the production being done through all the years. And from there, we did a master database and we made its workflow. So if you look at the beginning here, you will see this is all talking about the well, the current, and we brought some companies to help us in doing this. Then this will talk about the well header, the casing, the well cores, the time depth, and every single pics about to describe the data. Even though we went all the way down to the seismic data, where we have to put all the integration and the horizon and the faults, even for the specific and the smallest type of data that our company acquired during all the years, we put them together. Then we moved to a different type where we have to filter all this. So we went and put all the data in a query called Finder. And this type of data is for the production data. Then also we have to do something for the geoscience data, geolog. Then we create another type of data called logDB, where we put all the logs together. And at the end, someone would be able to put those things together and understand it and view it the way it, he will get used to it. So in the third way, we went for exploration and support. We brought the people who does the engineering with the people who do the geoscience, and we put them all together, and we create application and workflows for them. So at the end, they will have a browser where everyone would be able to view the data at one glimpse and at one sense. So they will be able to do all their work and having all these in the background and be able to make the right decision at the right time. So now, after all this, we integrate through a PowerExplorer, and this is the main domain for us, that we will be able, and the people works under us will be able to go through the PowerExplorer and view all the data they needed to do and manage it. So they will be able to go and in the system and be able to find all type of workflows they need, and at the end they will be able to make the right decision and go through system by system until they view what type of data they need and what type of level. And this is also about the seismic data management. We'll be able to do that and manage that. And we integrate the seismic standard workflow. So we had to make workflow very standard, very specific for them, so they will not have to go through the horizon, or they don't have to go through the lines of those type of data. They will be able to just go through the workflow and standardize it and go from level to level from this level at the beginning. So at the end, they will be able to view the data in a very systematic and very right approach. Then we said, okay, this is not the end of it. We will have to create an intelligent data field for all of those type of data. So people will be able to sit in front of their workstation, laptops, in a very smart rooms and view the data and look at it, make the decision, sit together, and they don't have to go and look for those data in anywhere else. We created many smart rooms for them to go and view their data and make the right decision. So an engineer will be able to, if he wants to drill a well, will be able to go through the seismic of the well, the seismic of the area, the history production, the cores, the logs, and he will go and bring the guy who works from exploration, for example, and make the right decision at the right place. Then we said, okay, if we want to do this, we also have to call and make a web area for them. So we made something called Sahal, which means it's easy to view, which is the people will be able to go and look at what type of decision they wanted to make. So if you work in drilling, you will be able to go to this area and view all the drilling data required. And there is 75 years of history of drilling. And there is thousands of wells that have been drilled. So you will be able to see all the data required. If you work in the field development, you will be able to do this. If you work in the well surface, you will be able to do this. If you work in production operation, you will go to this site and make the decision you want, and so on. So, or gas, or heavy oil, or water management. And, it is excellent that those people were able to make workflows between them, make the decision in the smartest way it could be happening. And we have won, and recognized by the Oil World Award for this creation we have done with the full team. It was really recognized from the company and from the SPE and from the other oil companies. So in summary and conclusions, we found out that there is a very big issue, which is the issue of the data were incomprehensive. It was not in a redundancy way. There was missing records, lack of standards and naming for those type of data, and the conformance and the analysis was detailed and diagnosis. We created a roadmap, and this roadmap will lead us for the future. And implementation of different steps took place in parallel and sequence. Finally, we create the collaboration centers that people will be able to view those data smartly, and will they be able to make the right decision, and they will be able to look at and say, okay, now we have all the data, we could manage it, it's in front of us. It's a very big data. And what I showed you today is a best practice that we have done, and I'm really happy to share this with you, and the floor is open for any question. Thank you.
Any questions?
So it sounds like you had a fairly massive legacy data problem to integrate into the new data structures. Can you comment a little bit about tools or processes you used to handle that?
Okay. To tell you the truth, because in the past it was really very cheap to produce oil back in my company, and we were spending a lot of money to acquire data, but we did not spend a lot of money to analyze data. Only late in the history of the company, we decided to do that. You know, we did like cores, thousands, and we did logs, and everything was stored in the place. But when somebody wants to go and analyze those data, they will have to go and do it manually. And you know how many mistakes somebody will make in manual. So we went to Landmark, we went to Schlumberger, we hired the smartest people, and we utilized a lot of their processes and a lot of their application to put the data. So we start with something called Finder, which is a database where we fit all the data, the history and the existing data to this database. And from there, because it really was difficult for people to go and just go in the application itself, we wanted to make this as easy. So we created our web area where somebody could just go and look at the things he wants, but it will feed up out of the data, which is the Finder database, which is a Schlumberger application. We also brought the GNG, OpenWorks, where we have to put all the geoscience data to those type of application. So we start with Finder, we start with OpenWorks, then we used many other smart applications that used in the oil industry, and we all put them together, and we made a very big project out of it, where people will be able to look at those data in a very easy, fast, and they will be able to make the right decision very easy. Please.
How did you evaluate that they made the right decisions, that it was easier now than earlier?
In a daily basis, 5,000 people goes to this system, and we have track of this. We made sure that we track how many people goes and look at, for example, the drilling data in a daily basis or the production data. And we also had peer reviews. We had spent a lot of time. We brought a consultant to sit with us and do this. So we know we made the right decision, because people are not spending a lot of time. We don't get a lot of complaints. In the past, people used to complain a lot. Okay, I went to for example, the general office where all the data and the files for each wells is there. A paper is missing. We made sure that we scan all the logs, we scan all the cores, we scan all the previous data, the history. We made sure that everything is put in and organized at one place. So, people will appreciate this. I really appreciate that. We knew that from the way people are behaving, the way people are making the right decision. Because if you talk about 75 years of data up to date, and tell you the truth, some years we spend more than 700 million just acquire seismic data and drilling data and core data and all type of data, production data. Because when you drill a well, you spend the money in drilling the data you require out of this well, not in the time you drill the well. If you're familiar with drilling the well, because we use the very high-tech technology to drill those wells. And this requires a lot of data and a lot of time and a lot of money to spend in those data. So we know for sure that since the last few years, people are not complaining. They're very satisfied with the type of information they're getting, and their life is becoming easy. That's why I want to share with you. This is really, a story which is a lot of my colleagues are very happy. I was an engineer one time, and I was not happy when I want to go and look for data in a file in a room. Today, I'll be able to sit in my laptop or my workstation anywhere, even outside the company, and will inquire any type of knowledge and information or data and manage it in a very quick manner time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.